faith. Hebrews introduces us to the first person in the text, and it says that by faith Abel offered a more excellent sacrifice than Cain. In other words, my first point to you today is that faith worships. Look at your neighbor and say, faith worships. By faith Abel offered a better sacrifice than Cain. And isn't that the foundation of our faith? Faith now teaches us how we should worship. We never have seen God, but we worship in faith, because they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. I've never seen God, but I believe in God. I've never been to heaven, but I believe in heaven, because whenever I worship, it's a demonstration of my faith. And if you want to know what your faith really is, it's demonstrated when you lift up your hands. Your faith is being demonstrated when you lift up a worship, when you lift up a praise unto God. You don't know that you've got the job, but you're praising him like you do. You don't know, hallelujah, if he will ever deliver you out of your situation that you're in, but you give him praise anyway. You don't know if he will bring you out, but you give God all the glory that is belonging to him. You don't know what you don't know, but my faith is faith, and that activates my worship, and my worship is dependent on my faith with God. And my worship has nothing to do with my clothes on my back. It has nothing to do, hallelujah, with the shoes on my feet, but the worship that I have with God says everything that is in me will give the Lord praise. If I didn't have a house and if I didn't have shoes, the worship that I have with God lets me know that I will give him all of the glory for the fact that you and I, hallelujah, is here right now is enough to give the Lord the highest praise. Come on, throw up your hands and give the Lord, hallelujah, a high praise in the house. Jeremiah said that every time I worship him, it feels like there is a fire that is shut up in my bones. You must worship. Worship requires the sacrifice, and you haven't worshiped until you broke a sweat. When you look back over your life and you see the stuff that you've been through, and you say, Lord, look at what you delivered me from. Hallelujah. You have to worship him. Worship reminds that the devil, that in spite of the stuff you've been through, you still have joy. Worship lets the enemy know that you're not giving up now. Hallelujah, Jesus. Worship lets me know that I can't help myself. I was created to worship him. If I had time, I would talk about the sacrifice of worship. Hallelujah. But worship requires a sacrifice. Abel offered a better sacrifice than Cain. Look at your neighbor and tell them, if we're going to walk in faith, we've got to learn how to worship God. And so many times we come into the presence of God and we want God to move in our midst. Hallelujah. But he says, if I be lifted up above this earth, I begin to draw all men unto me. Hallelujah. Worship is the key foundation to your faith. Hallelujah. And you cannot stop giving God, hallelujah, all the praise.